this is a prime example. Weird big guys sort of be hiding out here watching them. And this is what I call watch the watchers. And this is a good opportunity to sneak up on one. As good as you're going to get. But you know, you might get lucky. It might be one up here in front of me, really concentrating on this boat over here. And there's a girl in the boat, which is even more enticing, so to speak, for the big guys. So I'm going to ease up through here and try to kind of go kind of quiet as I can, and just be observant to see if I see anything. Okay, I'm about a mile and a half off the road now, and I'm getting ready to head down the overgrown trail that leads to the feeding station. Now, I didn't come up with this location on my own. A couple of years ago, I actually saw a Bigfoot laying down up here when I was down on the road. There's an old road bed down the bottom of the hill, and when I got up here, of course, he was too far away. I could see him when I zoomed in on the camera. So I made the decision to try to get up the hill. Of course, he was long gone, but he left a trail. And I actually followed the trail through here, and I came to in all this mess, and all this thick, overgrown stuff. I don't know, roughly 200 yards through there, it opens up into a really nice area, and I established that as my feeding station. So I didn't discover this, so to speak. The big guys led me to it. So I'm going to hit this trail. It doesn't look like much right there, but once you go in here, I haven't cleared it out on purpose. But once you get around some of this thicker vegetation, it opens up. So in we go. Okay, I've talked about in the past, in fact I even blogged on it Friday or Thursday, how I just, trail cameras just aren't going to get it done. And I'm removed, or the National Park Service confiscated several of my cameras when they found them in the national park. And I never got them back because I didn't want to pay the fine. But because basically the national park considers anything left in the park littering. Doesn't matter whether it's trail cameras or what. and you have to have a permit to do research. And you can imagine I'm not going to apply for a Bigfoot research permit in the national park. So, but I do have one trail camera on this trail that leads into the feeding station, and it's an old POJ camera, but it's kind of in here for kicks and giggles. I thought, well, it's sitting at the house gathering dust. You know, all it's going to cost me is batteries every 3 or 4 weeks, so I keep it out here. So far, I haven't got anything, and it's been out here now about 8 months. But I plan on just keeping it out here and feeding it batteries, and maybe one day they'll screw up, forget it's here, or make a mistake, and I might get a picture. You never know. But I've got it camouflaged pretty good. It's right. It's camouflaged well. I can't find it. There it is. Of course, the red light's on because the battery's dead. So let's change the batteries and put a new SD card in her. Alright, I'm right at the entrance of the feeding station. I put new batteries and a new SD card in the old trail camera. Now there was a loud snap or crash to my left that scared some birds. And I feel like I'm being followed back here in this big brush to my left. I feel like it. Now, that being said, there's still plenty of wildlife activity. So it may be a hog, deer, you know, it may not be a big guy, but it's just, I'm getting that feeling that I'm being followed, and he's right back over in there. So let's concentrate here. We've got our entrance to the feeding station, and I'll take you through. You see how it looks like when you first come in. See, this whole area is open. It's in the shade. It's several degrees cooler here than it is out in the sun, of course. A couple things while we're coming in here. Number one is I leave apples for the Bigfoot every time I come in here, at least 4. I'll leave it in a notch of these trees, and just a quick observation, and they're all gone. As you can see here, I've got tape right there and there, and then I'll put the apple there. The tape serves two purposes. Number one, hopefully I'll get a hair sample from one of the Bigfoot, but also if a possum, squirrel, or something else crawls up or down the tree, I'll usually get a big mat of white hair off the belly. And that kind of helps me know what got the apple. Of course, I don't see any hair here. Another thing I did is the last time I was in here, I left 2 apples in this bag. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but the whole side has been ripped out of the bag, and the apples that were in the bag are gone. So, pretty good stuff. But here's what I was talking about. Here's an indication that this may have been done by a raccoon or something. See this? See all that hair right there? And that looks like that's white and brown hair. So that's more than likely a raccoon. So, see, that's how I eliminate whether it was on the big guys or not. And so, see all that? So that's a prime example of how research works. That's too short to be Bigfoot hair, and it's too fine. And like I say, you can actually see the white and the brown. It's more than likely a raccoon. He was here and he leaned out and he ripped the bag open, got the apples. So it's a good that's a good example of how you work things. Over here was where I had 2 more apples. And the apples are gone. Don't see any here. Oh, there's a lizard. There you go. Where'd he go? It's a blue tail. So anyway, so there's your wildlife for the day. This area here is the feeding station. This is where I've collected samples, hair samples for the DNA study. I've demonstrated that before on that tree down there, using bacon grease. Right here is where I left them a sign that's in syllabics and Cherokee. The top is syllabics, the lower is Cherokee, I believe, or vice versa. No, the upper is Cherokee, sorry. Lower syllabics. And basically the sign says, "Hello, I'm a friend." And that's been in here for over a year now. That nasty looking sock is, I wiped sweat on my brow so they could get my scent and they knew who I was. This whole area is covered in poison oak and ivy, so you have to be careful in here right now. I've been laying rocks out for them. See if they mess with it. The only thing that's interesting here is I had laid the magnets parallel on the top, and as you can see, something has disturbed the magnets because they were in one long piece laid at the top of the rocks. The rocks were in order. Now I have to check the video, because I have noticed sometimes I'll go and I'll say, oh, they've not done anything, and then when I look at the video, the rocks will all be in the same space or location, but they'll be turned in the opposite direction. And sometimes they'll mess with you like that. I've actually had them turn all the, like this rock right here. This is vertical, and but when I originally left it the other way. Or the rocks may be just a tad out of order. One may be moved over to the left or the right. So they do weird stuff like that. And while I was just talking to you, you probably didn't hear it, but there was a grunt came from right over in there. And it was just just one. And I do get those from time to time around here. I'll talk to him here in a minute and see if I can get any response. We'll see. But wanted to show you that. Was that a Bigfoot? Don't know. I mean, I don't know what interest small animals would have in colored magnets. But you never know. And like I said, until I go back and look at my previous video to determine the order of the rocks and how they were turned, I know this little rock was right up against the other ones, but that could have been weather or something else. So there's a little tour of the feeding station here on the public land. I'm going to take my backpack off and get a drink of water, eat me a granola bar, see if I can get that guy to grunt at me again. I'm also going to play a call. Mary Green was gracious enough to give me some videos, and in one of the videos, Janice Carter is making some calls to the Bigfoot fox. And so since this area is close, very close to the old Carter farm, I'll like to play those, come out here and play that sometimes, see if I get any reaction, because I think that some of these Bigfoot on this area are from that original clan on the Carter farm. And so that's my theory anyway, but it makes sense. So I'm going to take off the backpack and eat a snack, and then we'll see. do a few other things here and enjoy this cool breeze.